Okay, so we're here today to talk about the secrets of social media success. Now, my name is Veronica Pullen and I run a business called Word of Mouth Local Social Media. And before we start, PowerPoint failure. Alright, technology, you've got to love this. Alright, before we start, probably an idea for me just to give you a bit of background about who I am. I'm a social media trainer. I am the social media columnist for the Surrey Mirror, and I also speak at events on social media and Asperger's syndrome. Now, I'll start off by telling you a little story that will give you even more of a clue to how I've arrived here today. When I was 12, I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, and at first it was just in one knee, and slowly through my teenage years it became one knee, then two knees, and it was a very slow progression at the beginning. Where we are today, 30 years later, is that it's in pretty much every joint of my body, with the exception of my spine and my hip. But when since I was 17, what I really wanted was to drive a car, and my ultimate dream car at that time was an XR3i, a Ford Escort XR3i. Now I'm really showing my age now because they're not made anymore, and some of the younger people on this call won't even know what that is. But for me, that was the dream that I really wanted, and one day when I made it, I was going to have that car. So as soon as I was 17, I got my provisional license, and I began learning to drive. And it actually, I found it a real struggle trying to drive a manual car. Some of it because of the physical aspects, so it was hurting my knee trying to keep the biting point, and sometimes some of it because I couldn't just get my head around the gears and all the traffic around me, and it just wasn't happening for me. And what actually did happen is it took me 7 years of on and off, different cars, different driving instructors, intensive lessons, hourly lessons every week. I tried it all, but it just wasn't coming together for me. And eventually someone told me that you could have an automatic driving license, that you didn't actually have to pass your test in this manual car. You could pass your test in an automatic car and only be allowed to drive automatic cars. But that's fine, that's great, because now there's a way that I can have this car. All right, albeit I might never drive the XR3i, or I would never have driven the XR3i because it's only ever a manual car, but it was a car. I could have the car. So in 1995, around the beginning of April, I had my first lesson in an automatic car, and on the same day I bought an automatic car. So determined was I that I was going to pass this test, I bought the car on the same day that I had my first lesson. And I said to the instructor that I knew in my gut that I had to take my test on the 24th of May. Don't ask me why, I just knew. And so the test came through, and it was for 6th of June, something of June, and I don't know what it's like now, but in those days you had to send back the first date and ask for a cancellation if you needed to change it. So I did that, and the test came back for the 24th of June, 24th of May, the date that I wanted. And at 3:15 on the 24th of May 1995, I passed my driving test first time. And now I've got my car, and everything's great, the world's opened, I've got my independence back. And another problem that I had was, since I was a child, is night vision. I've always struggled to see in the dark. I can't see in the dark. And I never drove at night, because I knew it was a problem, but it was great being able to get around and about during the day. But when it came to October, and I knew that the days were going to get shorter, and because the other aspect is that light. I can't look at a light, it hurts my eyes, and headlights are very glary. So I knew that with the days getting shorter, even though it wasn't dark, I was going to have to battle with headlights and reflecting off the rain and all sorts of whatnot. So I'd seen in a magazine that you could get, or several magazines, that you could get anti-glare glasses. So I thought that's exactly what I need. It would just bounce off that glare. So I went along to the optician thinking that it was going to be a simple exercise, that he would say, oh, yes, that's fine, here you are, give me the glasses, and off I would go. But it wasn't. The optician detected that I may have a condition called retinitis pigmentosa. And what that is it means that the retina, parts of the retina die, and for some people with the condition, they end up with tunnel vision. Literally the whole of their field of vision goes. But for me, it's just the bottom area. I can see to the side, left, right, and above, but I can't see underneath my chin. The optician sent me off to the hospital, and I walked into the outpatients department, into the consultant's office, and the first sentence he said to me was, yes, I can confirm the diagnosis, you have retinitis pigmentosa. And the second sentence he said to me was, I'm afraid it means that we need to revoke your driving licence. Well, actually, he didn't even say I'm afraid. He just said, I need to revoke your driving licence. Can you imagine? It's taken me 7 years to get this licence. I've had it for 6 months and it's gone. And that was 17 years ago. And when something like that happens, when, you know, the independence is now gone, I can't see at night, so it's difficult to go out and about in the evening. I'm in pain. I'm tired at night. I also have a hearing deficiency, which is about 65–70% loss. So it's quite a long list here. I mean, let's be honest, this is quite a nice little list. But all of these add up to several difficulties that you have to overcome. And the way that I did overcome it was to explore more about what I could do online. Rather than thinking that I have lost what I can't do, I always prefer to think about what I can gain instead. What is the positive that I can take from it? And to be honest, for a while there wasn't any positive. I'd be lying if I said that I took it lightly, because I didn't. It took me a couple of years to get over that, because it felt like I'd found a way around the obstacle and then they just snatched it away from me. But looking back now, 17 years later, I can see it's like that was meant to happen, because what that's done is it means that I'm 17 years of experience of networking online. So I'm not somebody who isn't a proficient offline networker who's just jumped online. It's the other way around for me. I have lived and built my business online, and it's those skills that I've gained and all of the opportunities that I've created for myself online that I teach you guys and all of my clients. And there is an end to this story. When I told this is the exact seminar that I gave last Friday at the exhibition, and that was the end of the story on Friday. But on Saturday, I went to see the consultant again, because another aspect of retinitis pigmentosa is that it encourages early cataract growth. And I'm there now. I now have 2 fully formed cataracts, 1 on each eye, and they need to be operated on and removed. And so I haven't seen the consultant. As soon as I knew I needed the operation, it has to be him. He kind of started this journey, and now he can finish it. But so I went down to see him, and he did the examination, and then we started talking about operation dates. And he said, right, I can do the surgery on the 24th of May. 17 years to the day that I passed my driving test, and quite likely to the minute that I passed my driving test, because I need to be at the hospital at 2 o'clock, and by the time they've given me the general anaesthetic and whatever, it's quite likely that it'll be 3:15 before I'm in surgery. 17 years to the day, to the time, to the dot that I passed my driving test, I'm going to have another I'm going to begin another journey with eyesight better than I've had for the entire of my life so far, because to remove the cataract is going to create an HD world for me. And I just thought that was really ironic and really quite, it's fate really, it's almost serendipity that was the journey that I was meant to begin 17 years ago. And exactly 17 years later, he's going to reward me for getting to this stage. So that's really the background about who I am and why I'm here and how I can help you. So let's now get on to me helping you. One of the objections that small business owners say to me about why they haven't embraced social media is, I haven't got time. Lots of people think that in order to be successful at social media, you need to be on there all day long. And they can't be there all day long because they've got other things to do. Right. So my first message to you tonight is that isn't true. If you know what to do, where to do it, and who to focus your time on, you can be successful on social media in just half an hour a day. And we're going to cover all of those aspects in the rest of the course. But I want you to take that away from here, that you only actually need 30 minutes a day. And that 30 minutes can come from dead time. You know, perhaps at the beginning of this webinar, you were sitting here waiting for a couple of minutes for us to start. That is time that you could be posting a message for your business. You could be writing an engagement tweet. There are lots of little pockets of time like that during the day that you can use those pockets of time to add up towards your 30 minutes a day. So it's not even that you necessarily need to set aside a whole 30-minute block. It could be that you set aside 3 times 10-minute blocks, or it could be that you don't actually set aside any time at all. You use time that you can't be doing anything else. And so I want to remove that panic that may be going on in your mind right now that says that I need to be there all day if I'm going to be successful, because that genuinely isn't true. So social media success is in your mind. Now, it doesn't mean it's in your mind it's never going to happen, but what it does mean is that it's in your mindset. Now, a lot of business owners come into social media thinking in their minds that everything that they do is going to lead to a sale. I can tell you now that it's not. The objective of social media and your involvement in social media is to build, engage with, and grow your community of customers, referrers, and raving fans over a period of time, but which places your business right in the middle of this community and makes you the business in your field that these people want to buy from. When they think, I need whatever it is that you offer, you are the person that they think of. And that is the objective of social media, and that is what you will get if you are successful with social media. And it is what you will get if you stop thinking about what you can take from people on social media, because it isn't all about you. And I'm sorry to say, it's not all about me either, and that hurts me. But start to focus on what you can give to the people that you are connected with on social media. Not what can you take from them, but what can you give to them? Because the people that you are connecting with, the people that you are engaging with, do not have their credit card in their hand. They are there to learn, to be educated, to be informed, to be entertained. And if you come in with the objective of making a sale, there's an immediate mismatch there. The intention of both of you, or all of you, is not the same. And unless there is that magnetic connection, you won't proceed any further. So your prime instinct every time you log into social media has got to be your giving of whatever, and we'll come to that in a minute, but not what can I take from people. How quickly will they buy? hello, buy my stuff. It doesn't work. I mean, if you go to a real life networking event and or on offline networking event, I should say, because saying real life makes it sound like this isn't. But offline networking event, if you walk into an offline networking event and you introduce yourself to Bob and you say, hi, I'm Veronica. I run a social media business working with local business owners to show them how to be successful on social media. And he says, hi, I've got this fantastic telephone system which is absolutely perfect for what you do. If you just have a look at this, here's the brochure, and if you go down there, you can sign, and I'll send it off tomorrow. He's not going to get anywhere, is he? Because you're not going to buy, because it's, whoa, I've only just met you. And there are some business owners who forget those rules. The minute they sit down behind their keyboard, they forget that it's not allowed or not deemed acceptable in real life. But it must be okay. So it must be okay here. It's just not. If you don't do it in real life, if you wouldn't do that in real life, you don't do it on social media either. Okay? There's one exception to that, and that is at offline networking. If there's a group of people, so there's 5 people all engaged in a conversation and you just walk in, the rules of offline networking say that you hang around on the outside of that group and wait for one person to introduce you into the conversation, and then slowly you come into the rest of it. Online, if you've got something to contribute or value to a conversation, you can jump straight in. And not only is it allowed, it's encouraged, and I absolutely encourage you to do it. If you see a conversation that you feel that you can add value to, by all means, and do jump in and add the value, because you will be welcomed into that conversation. That's the only one different rule between online and offline networking. Your social media mantra that you should either keep in your mind or actually print out and post it above your computer. You give people what it is that they were asking for or hoping for when they wrote their post. Now, for this, most of the time it's obvious. Sometimes you need to employ a little intuition, because let's just say you're an accountant in Brighton and you see a post that says, can anyone recommend me to an accountant in Brighton? Now, when that person wrote that post, what they were asking for was an introduction to an accountant in Brighton. If you are that accountant in Brighton, or you are following an accountant in Brighton, or you know of an accountant in Brighton, you can absolutely introduce the accountant in Brighton, because you are giving them what they were asking for. However, if they say, it's nearly self-assessment time, the intention, what they were hoping for when they wrote that post was a bit of empathy, perhaps someone to agree with them that yes, they feel the same way about self-assessment time. But what they don't want is, hello, I'm the accountant in Brighton and I can take that off you and do it all for you. That is not what they were hoping for when they wrote that post. So what you've got to do before you press any buttons to begin engaging is to just stop for a minute and think, what is it that they're asking for? So if they're asking for it, it's obvious. But what is it that they are hoping for when they wrote that post? And if it's empathy or to share in excitement, then they're not going to want you trying to sell at them. Does that make sense? So just bear that in mind before you go steaming in, because if you go in with the wrong approach, if you try and sell when all they are wanting is empathy or a bit of support, there's a mismatch. And as soon as there is a mismatch, the door closes, you become ignored or discarded or whatever. There's a door closed. But what you need to do is to keep that door open by giving them what they asked for or hoped for when they wrote their post. Now, I say that you should have an engaging smile on social media, and I don't just mean that you should be happy, happy, happy. You shouldn't bring negativity to social media. Remember that every time that you post anything on social media, you are representing your business. So if you are having a bad day, that's fine. Everybody has a bad day. But if you are having a bad month, then I would highly recommend that you perhaps have a month away, because nobody wants to spend too much time with negative people. I'm sorry, but they don't. And nobody wants to buy from a business owner who is negative all of the time, because if you're not excited about your business, I'm not going to be excited about your business either. So by all means, have a bad day or have a bit of a grump, but don't have a bad longer period. But that isn't what I mean by the smile. What I mean by the smile is solutions. Going back to what I just said, giving people what they asked for or hoped for. If you see a post from somebody asking a question that you know the answer to, or you have an opinion on, depending on what kind of question it is, give it to them. This is where the giving comes in. That you can give them the answer to the question. Well, it might be, does anyone know a good iPhone app for taking notes? If you know of a good iPhone app for taking notes, tell them which iPhone app it is that you use or you know of. Again, if they're asking for introduction to the accountant in Brighton, give them the introduction to the accountant in Brighton. So it's whatever the problem is that they post about, and you know a solution, which doesn't necessarily lead back to your business, because as soon as it leads back to your business with an intention to sell, people can see through that. So you need to be offering the solution because you want to help. Okay? So the M is for making people feel valued. Now, we all can have a tendency, it's human nature, to make a judgment about somebody the first time you meet them. And you can do that just as easily online when you perhaps read somebody's profile and you might make a decision that they're never going to be of any use to you. You know, perhaps you can see straight away that they're never going to be a client, or they're not somebody that you would normally talk to offline. Now, what I say here is that whoever you are talking to on social media, you treat everybody the same. It is not up to us, and particularly it is not up to us as a business owner, to judge people and treat one person better than the other. Because just because you made a decision that one person isn't in your client area, targeted client, who knows who they know? And if you are mean to them or make them feel guilty for the situation that they're in, or do anything that doesn't leave them with a positive feeling about you, they're not going to go away sharing a positive feeling about you. And if they don't feel positive about you, none of their network are going to be, you're not going to be talked about to any of their network. So what you want to do is to make sure that everybody who leaves you feeling that they've had a good service from you. Whatever the service is that you offer, the solution or the entertainment or whatever it is that you do, treat people equally. Treat people the way that you would want to be treated yourself. And that applies on both ends of the spectrum. You know, you might make a decision that because somebody their profile says that they're unemployed and they can't work and they don't work and what have you, you might make a decision that they're never of any use to you. And that's just as wrong as sucking up to celebrities. Now, there isn't anything much more exciting in Twitter than being tweeted or retweeted by a celebrity. But if I was your client and I could see that you were placing more value upon a celebrity who is your client, maybe or may not, why why should I feel that the celebrity is worth more to you than I am? Particularly if the celebrity is not paying you and I am. Equally for the celebrity, if you think about how many messages they must get every day, or they do get every day, 75% of them are, oh, love you, you're so good. I've read all your books, I've watched all your films. They're a bit samey, and, you know, I'm sure it's very nice to read that kind of adulation, but they're a bit samey. If you want to be recognised or noticed or to have a conversation with a celebrity, you've got to treat them as if they were the same person as you are. Don't put anybody on a pedestal, and at the other end of the spectrum, don't knock anybody off the pedestal. Have everybody on the same level, and you will start to see that more people are happy to engage with you. For the eye, your content that you share on social media should inform, educate and entertain. See, if you're writing blog posts, you can share information, you can share your knowledge and experience, you can educate people, and you can entertain people. Now, with entertainment, we're talking about humour. And the one thing that you should always be aware of is, again, everything you write online is A, permanent, and B, representing your business. If you are using borderline humour that may offend one person, the chances are you will offend one person. And if you offend one person, you may offend 10 or 20 or 50 people, which is not good for your business either. Keep humour at a lower level. Don't skirt anywhere near the bone with any sexist, racist, any comments like that, because it's just not worth it. It might give you an entertaining couple of seconds, but the consequences of that could be far worse for your business. So keep the entertainment, the humour at a neutral level. But people like comic, animal pictures, that kind of humour is fine, but insulting someone in the name of humour is not. And when that happens, it's funny to some people and offensive to the other, and it's that kind of humour that you need to stay away from. Listen and acknowledge. Now, this goes back to giving people what it is they asked for or hoped for when they wrote the post. Because if somebody is hoping to be listened to, the person who isn't excited about the fact that it's self-assessment time, wanted to be listened to and heard. So if you do nothing else, you can at least acknowledge that you've heard what they say and just say, yeah, absolutely. If you read somebody's blog post and you enjoyed it, tell them that you enjoyed it, and actually pick out something that you enjoyed. Rather than just saying, hey, great blog post, say, oh, I really enjoyed that, and I especially like the line that quote was just, that made me laugh. But something that indicates that you've read it, because that gets attention. That will, if you receive 25 tweets that say, great blog post, there's not really much you can do with that. You can't really engage with it. But if you say, oh, I particularly love that quote that you said from so-and-so, and there's a opportunity there for them to engage with you and interact with you. And that's what you want to do every single time you engage with somebody. You want to leave that door just a little bit open. I mean, all conversations come to an natural end, and that's not what I mean. But if you write a post, if you tweet or put a comment on Facebook saying great blog, there isn't anything that they can do with that other than say, oh, I know, but that, people just don't do that. But if you refer to something that opens up a potential question or a conversation lead for them to reply to you, and you get a two-way interaction, that's where you start to build the network. And engage. Engage is so important. what you should not do on social media is to set up your profile or run your profile, post your post and respond to comments and do nothing else. What you have a responsibility to do, if you want to be successful on social media, you have a responsibility to make it happen. And as part of that responsibility, it is up to you to go and initiate conversations. Now, just for example, if you go and acknowledge somebody's blog post and you use an open question or an open sentence, that invites engagement. So that for you is you initiating engagement, and it's an open question, so they will respond to you and there will be an interaction. But you will not be successful on social media if you only post broadcasting messages, so output, and wait for people to come to you, because that is like going to an offline networking event and standing up and do 40-60 seconds and then going and sitting in the corner and hoping that someone comes and finds you, because one or two people will, but most people won't. And in order for you to generate success, you want more and more people to know who you are, but beyond that, you want them to care who you are. And they will only care who you are if you A, go and introduce yourself to them, go and initiate a conversation, and B, smile. Solutions make them feel valued, inform, educate and entertain, listen and acknowledge. There will begin to be an emotional connection, and it is the emotions that drive the sales. I'm sure you've all heard that before, but it's normally about invoking emotions in your sales copy. In this case, it's invoking emotion in your conversations, in your engagement. You engage from the heart. If you engage from the heart, that suggests that you actually care what people think about what you said. If you, I've seen posts from people who think it's funny to insult a celebrity because they're a celebrity. It's never funny to insult anybody, and the fact that you've done that suggests that you don't care whether you've upset them or not. And it is that lack of care that will cost you success. You absolutely have to appear, even if you are only acting, you have to appear to care. But if you can genuinely care, you will do better. Every time I talk to somebody on social media, at the moment that I'm talking to them, I care about them. And I remember what they've told me. And if I see something that is relevant to them later, I will put it in front of them because I care. And it is that care that creates the emotional connection. And it is that emotional connection that draws people towards me. And that's what you want to be doing as well. You want the emotional connections to draw people towards you, into your network, and to actually care about doing business with you and care about referring you. Okay? Talking about good engagement and bad engagement. Let's just say you're a plumber, and you see a post on Twitter or Facebook that says, I'm in B&Q shopping for a bathroom suite. The person who wrote that post or tweeted that in B&Q while they were shopping for a bathroom suite is either going to be excited about getting a new bathroom suite because that's quite exciting, it would excite me, a new room to design, or they don't really want to be there and they would rather be at home watching football or whatever, somewhere else other than in B&Q. What they're not feeling when they wrote that post, what they're not asking for or hoping for, is for Bob the plumber to say, hello, I can fit that suite for you. Because they're not there yet. At this moment in their mind, when they wrote that post, they're only caring about the moment that they're in B&Q shopping, whether it's a good feeling or a bad feeling. They haven't gone anywhere beyond that. And so if Bob the plumber goes straight in and tries to sell, he's in the wrong place at the wrong time. However, if he goes in with a good smiley response, oh, have you found anything you like yet? It's an open question, and if you put yourself, if you right now think of that you have just written that post, that you have just tweeted that in the middle of B&Q, and someone replies to you saying, oh, have you found anything you like yet? I bet 9 out of 10 of you are going to respond to it, because it's he's listening to you, he's acknowledging what you've said, and he's allowing you to talk about yourself. And people love to talk about themselves more than they love to hear about you, and that's a very valuable thing to remember. At the beginning I said it isn't all about you. It's not. It's about the people that you're engaging with. So if Bob responded with hi, I'm Bob, I can fit that bathroom suite, the person who wrote that post in B&Q shopping for a bathroom suite is likely to either ignore Bob, block him for being too full on, but whatever they do, it's not going to be a positive action. If he goes in with a smiley post, some smiley engagement, the chances are they'll look at his profile, they might follow him, almost certainly they'll reply. They could actually realise that at some point in the future they are going to need a plumber to fit this bathroom suite, and say, oh, I'm going to need you soon, that's funny, how much do you charge? And if they realise it, that's great, because then the intentions are matching, because Bob is there to sell and their mind is open to buying. So you've got to make sure you're on the same wavelength all of the time, because when he went in with the sales tweet, there was no connection. They just weren't listening to each other. Bob hasn't listened to what they were saying, and in return they're not going to listen to what Bob was saying. Does that make sense? Think about your response, and unless they actually said, does anyone know a plumber who can fit the suite when we've got it, that's fine, because then the intentions meet. But until they do say that, it is not okay. Okay, so I hope that makes sense, because that's really important. What isn't so important is whether you get the hope right. If you feel that they are excited about that bathroom suite and you respond with your smiley post sharing in their excitement, but what's actually happening is that they wish that they could be in the pub watching the football, you're still open for a response. Because going back to you again, if you're in B&Q and you just posted that you're in B&Q shopping for a bathroom suite and you're bored rigid, and someone sends you a post that says, oh, what kind of bathroom are you getting? You're still going to feel that you want to respond to that, and you're going to respond with something like, oh, I have no idea, I'd rather be at the pub, but it's still an open, the door is still open. What you need to do is to make sure the door remains open all of the time, and that you don't have it slammed in your face by going in there with a bad engagement style. Okay? So while you might be thinking, oh gosh, this is going to take me forever before I make a sale, it might do, but it might not. I've had clients who, as soon as they start with this kind of engagement, the first 2 or 3 times they've done it, they lead into a sale, because it's important that the person that you're talking to doesn't feel that you're trying to sell to them. And if they feel that, you're not going to make a sale. But if they feel that you're not, if they feel that they're just having a conversation with you, they might actually be in the mood to buy, and it could lead on. So, but what I want you to consider is that social media is a longer term prospect. It can have quick results, but I don't want you to bank on quick results. I want you to consider a stronger foundation. I want you to create a foundation for your network, and then I want you to build on it layer by layer by layer, person by person. So if you expect quick results, you're going to be in the wrong mindset, because if you're expecting results now, you're going to be trying to sell, push. But if you sit back and take a more laid back approach to it and recognise the benefits of what you're doing. Because every time you engage with somebody new, in a smiley way, you are potentially adding one more person to your network who cares about you and wants to talk about you and wants to refer you and wants to buy from you. So look at it as a longer term foundation building, but just like with everything, the stronger the foundations, the stronger the wall, or the stronger the whatever, you know. If the foundations are good, then what goes on top of those foundations is even better. If you build it quickly without foundations, it's all likely to topple over at some point, and you don't want that. You want a longer term success rate. But what you don't want to do is to just smile at anybody and everybody. Well, you do smile at everybody that you're engaging with, but what I mean is, we're talking about being successful in half an hour a day. And if you go down your newsfeed and just engage with everybody in a smiley way, you're going to be there all day. And equally, there's no strategy to it. There's no, you don't know that you're talking to people who would ever have any interest in what you do, or have a network of people who would be interested in what you do. So think of the keywords that people would use to describe you, describe your business, and look for them. Think of the key phrases and look for them. Find the people who are most likely to want what you offer and engage with them. And when you engage with them, you smile. And now, what I try and promote is that you engage with 6 new people a day. 6, run searches, save searches. As you run them, save them, and find 6 new people a day to engage with, because at the end of the year, 2,140 new people that you've engaged with. Now, some people would say that all 2,140 people will care, but I'm a realist. I'm not going to lie to you. If we assume a worst case scenario that 10% will care, 214 new people. Now, I'm sure some of you are going to networking groups where you pay an annual membership, and particularly the referral networks. I'm talking about the referral networks rather than the open networking, but where you've got 20 odd people in your room that you refer to within the room. In the course of the year, you might meet 40 people in that room. 214 worst case scenario. If you can engage with 6 new people a day, 214 new people at the end of the year, and you haven't had to leave home for them. In my experience, it's nearer 35%. That's 600 people. If you're getting it right, those 600 people are targeted prospects. Yeah. Now, another thing that you can do is give referrals. Staying on the topic of referral networking, the BNI motto is that give is gain. If you give me a referral, I'm more likely to give you one in return, and that is to a degree very true, because the fact that someone gives you a referral does create that emotional bond, and it's that emotional bond that drives them on to take action in return. And on Twitter, this works on Twitter. If you do a search for anyone recommend within speech marks, that will give you a whole stream of tweets for people saying, can anyone recommend me to blah blah blah. Now, what you can do is to skim down. You could have anyone recommend, and you could have London, or you could just leave it at, I leave it at anyone recommend, and you skim down the post and you see if you know of anyone that you're following that fits the bill of the person that they're asking for. So, can anyone recommend me to an accountant in Brighton? Oh yeah, I know an accountant in Brighton. And you connect the 2 people. Now, let's assume that the accountant in Brighton doesn't know that you're following them, because we all have people following us that we're not entirely sure. We don't know everybody's name of the person, that's people that are following us. So Imagine now that the accountant in Brighton, the first interaction that they have with you is you saying, "Hi, I've just found this tweet from someone who is looking for an accountant in Brighton. Perhaps you can help them." How is the accountant in Brighton going to feel about you? Pretty good, wouldn't you say? Would you say there is some, emotionally, he's going to feel a connection to you? He's going to be well chuffed that you just put this business in front of him, or at least put this opportunity in front of him. And the next time, he will take notice of you. He will look to see who you are, because he's going to wonder who it is that's given him this referral. And the next time that he sees a post from someone wanting what you do, there's a very good chance that he will give it back. But as always, you don't do it with that intention. You do it because you care and you want to help. And there is a difference. If you give in order to receive, it's a cynical approach and people can see through it and it won't get you very far. But you give because you want to give, because you care. Okay? And so you just put yourself in front of another new person now of your 6 a day. One more. In fact, you've done it in front of 2, because not only have you given the person who was asking for the referral, you gave them what they asked for, but you've also given the accountant what he hoped for, because everyone hopes to do business. Everyone hopes for a referral. Everyone hopes for a lead. And that's what you've just given the accountant, and you've solved the person asking for the accountant's problem. 2 people who might care about you. And you've only got 4 left now to do today. Now, if you think about how long it takes, the big key here is that when you run searches in Twitter, you save them, because once you've saved them, you can have 25 searches saved. And once you've saved them, it's a very quick job to just run it again. You just select it from the list. So the other argument is that engaging with 6 people takes too long. Now, if you think how long it takes to write a broadcast message, buy my stuff, hello, me type message, and you think how long it takes to run that search quickly and engage with somebody, we're talking about maybe 25 seconds, 30 seconds different. Yet, when you are engaging, you know that someone is going to read your message. When you are broadcasting, you're only hoping that someone is going to read your message. And in my view, there is more chance that 6 people will read your message if it is addressed to 6 people, than if you broadcast it and hope that 6 people read it. Or 6 people might read it as a broadcast message, but 6 people might not take much notice of it. But the 6 people that you engage with directly will take notice of it. And I'm not saying that you never broadcast, because you do. You do still need to do some broadcasting, because the idea is that when you draw people into you and you create that emotional connection, that you're taking them back to your shop. You're taking them back, and when they come to the shop, they want to see what you're offering, and that's what they see. That's how they learn with your broadcast page. So you still want to be broadcasting, but you need to be engaging much, much, much more than you are broadcasting. So if you imagine you come out of your shop and you say, "Oh, hello," to 6 individual people walking past who actually stop and talk to you, those 6 people are more, there's 6 people who will know what it was that you wanted to say, rather than hoping they read the billboard outside. It's the same on social media. Now, I liken or compare the social media world, the stratosphere, to a shopping centre. Now, if you think about the shopping centre in your local area, wherever that is, let's just say Lakeside for the purpose of something that we all know. When you know where in that shopping centre your customers are going to go, you know where you need to be on social media. So before we actually go into the shopping centre, just outside, because there normally is outside most shopping centres, a big office block. In the office, in the lobby of the office, there's a group of people all wearing business attire, and they're all talking. Is your prospects, or are your prospects likely to go into that building? Are they going to feel that that's an environment that they should be in, that they're comfortable in? Because if the answer is yes, then that sounds to me like you're selling business to business. Well, you are selling business to business, and you should have a presence on LinkedIn, because LinkedIn is the best platform for B2B. Sorry, rather, it is the business networking platform. So imagine your prospects have just parked up their car, and as they walk from their car to the shopping centre, they pass this great big office block. If they look inside and see all of these business people networking and think, oh no, that's not for me, and carry on and go in the shopping centre, then you do not need to spend time and focus on LinkedIn. But if they would go into the big office block, because that was their environment, leaving aside the fact that it might be an invitation-only event, but if that is an environment that they would feel that they fitted into, or at least be curious about what was going on in there, then you need to be focusing on LinkedIn. Now, in LinkedIn, setting that aside for a minute, every single business owner should have a fully completed LinkedIn profile as a minimum. The reason for that is that LinkedIn is very, very highly optimized, and unless you're particularly savvy with search engine optimization, there's a good chance that if you are searched for in Google, your LinkedIn profile will rank higher than your website. Now, if your LinkedIn profile is fully complete and it tells me where else on social media you are, it links me to your website, it tells me how I can get hold of you, and it shows me clearly and concisely where you are and what you do, I can either get all the information I need from that profile, or I can see where else I need to go. If your website is on page 20 of Google, I'm not going to find you without a link. If your website is on page 20 but you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, I'm not going to find you. But if your website is on page 20 and you have got a LinkedIn profile, I'm going to find you on LinkedIn first. I'm going to at least know that you exist for sure, and the fully completed LinkedIn profile will tell me where I can find out more and whether I want to be honest. And I will, because you're going to compel me to do that in the way that you complete your LinkedIn profile. And in order for it to be fully completed, you need testimonials. And they're called recommendations on LinkedIn. So what you do is, if business to business is not your focus, if your prospects wouldn't go into the office block, set up your LinkedIn profile, connect with people that you meet offline by just finding them and asking to connect or accepting connection requests. And where any of those are clients, ask them through the LinkedIn platform for a recommendation. And what that does is it puts a little testimonial on your LinkedIn profile. So when I found your LinkedIn profile 19 pages earlier than I found your website, I can quickly see that you're worthwhile bothering with, because all of these people are saying such great things about you. And that all happens within the LinkedIn profile. But if you're selling to consumers, you don't need to worry about doing anything else. But just do the LinkedIn profile as a minimum for everybody. Everyone on this call, if you haven't already, go and get a LinkedIn profile as a minimum. If you are selling to business people who would be comfortable in that office block, you've got your LinkedIn profile set up. You've got LinkedIn groups that allow you to network. Their groups can be sector specific, they can be region specific, what you do is that you find and join groups where your target market are hanging out. You go hang out where your prospects are. So if social media trainers were your target market, you look for the groups where the social media trainers are congregating. And you plonk yourself in the group and you get involved with the discussions that are going on, but you don't sell. You do exactly the same as you were before with your smiley engagement. You help people and you care. You don't sell. But it does come up in conversation. It will come up in conversation at some point what it is that you do. And by the time it does, people have got to trust you because they know you're not spamming. There is nothing worse, and there was too many of them, LinkedIn groups where every post is somebody going, buy my stuff. No, is the answer. Because if you're not contributing to the group in any other way except advertising your products or your blogs or your what have you, nobody's interested. You've got to contribute before people will care. It's not until people care that they're going to take any notice. So in order to build up the network within LinkedIn, within the LinkedIn groups, is just get involved with the group, as well as getting involved with the groups where your prospects are. Get involved with groups where you can develop in business or personally too. Look for groups that, if you want to be a speaker, look for groups where you can join, where it's full of speakers who can guide you and give you some input on how you can develop in that area. So LinkedIn groups are great for networking with peers, then great for developing yourself, and they're also great for getting in front of a large number of prospects. Now, when you look for a LinkedIn group, there are loads of them. And before you join the group, look at how many members it's got. Because if you're joining a group and trying to get some traction where there's only 6 members, you're going to be there for years and years and years. What you really want is where it's a bit busy, where there's at least 70, 80 members, and not only that, where the members are posting regularly. So be choosy about which groups you join, because we don't want to be spending all day. We haven't got all day to do this. So we want to know that where we are putting our effort, which groups that we are putting effort and input into, is where other people are doing the same, and that there is some form of traction going on. So I usually use that as a guide. Less than 80 members, move on and find another one. Also look at where the location of the group, because unless you can sell comfortably to the US or what have you, you don't really want to be joining a group for American social media trainers. You want to look for the UK ones. If that's not a problem, then it doesn't matter. You've also got LinkedIn Answers. Now, LinkedIn Answers is like, in a shopping centre you have a little kiosk, and it says help or help point or ask me anything. Well, that's what LinkedIn Answers is. People post questions in there about just about anything, and they are sorted by topic. Now, how you can use LinkedIn Answers is to go and actually answer these questions and demonstrate your expertise. But because you're answering one person's question, and it might get read by a few people, or it might get read by not many, you need to consider whether your time is better spent in the answers or better spent in the groups. And to be honest, I would suggest it's the groups, because you can be seen by more people, providing that you've chosen the group right. If you've got it will take you a long time to get any kind of traction on answers. I know people who have been very successful with answers, but they have answered thousands of questions, and we're talking about getting success in a short period of time. So focus the efforts on where you're going to be more noticed, and that's in the groups rather than the answers. Your Facebook page, inside the shopping centre you have shops. Inside a shopping centre all the shops are kind of open, aren't they? You can just walk in and out and in and out. And that's what a Facebook page is. That's your shop window for you to display all your marvellous products and content and whatever it is you've got to show people. Share blogs, share your videos, share pictures. Pictures get shared more often on Facebook than anything else. Share if you've got an offer. Facebook offers was launched a couple of days ago. At the moment it's only for retail pages, but they've got very good potential for viral traction, because if one person chooses the offer, all of their friends can see that they've chosen it. So what you do is you lay out everything that you've got in your shop window on your Facebook page, and people can come in and you can draw them in with adverts, or you can send them from your offline marketing. When they get there, they can come in and see what you've got and they can talk to you about it. And if you're selling product, for example, if you're selling jewellery, put pictures of each item in an album. Have albums that are sorted out by bracelets, necklaces, earrings, or what have you. Put the picture of the product in the right album and put the price of the product in the description. Make it easy for me to make a decision about whether that's something that I would want. And then also in the description, tell me how I can buy it. So this bracelet is peony bracelet, £25 to purchase. Go to this, or leave a comment and I'll email you or something. Tell me what you want me to do, because many times I don't know if this is me being if this is a fault of mine, but if I see a picture and I think, oh, that looks nice, I'm very likely to buy it. I've bought a hell of a lot of jewellery off social media because I see a picture and think that's nice, and before I know it, I've bought it. And if I can do it, if I'm doing that, then you can bet that other people are doing that too. So make it easy for me to make that decision to buy. The Facebook group is like the quiet private area at the back of the store. It might be your customer service area. Now, if you're running any kind of business that offers a support facility, or could offer a support facility, Facebook groups are a good place to host it. I'm part of a mastermind group, and we have a private Facebook group where we can all connect and ask questions. I'm part of my training product has its own Facebook group where people can connect with me. It's a great way if you're an IT specialist and you want to offer. It can even be an upsell. Don't make it obvious on Facebook it's an upsell, but it could be that people pay you slightly more to get access to this group. But it tends to be, if the Facebook group is going to be open, then a page is more relevant. But if the Facebook group, you can have open, closed, or secret. The closed and the secret ones work the best because people know that what goes on in this group is private and it's not appearing in their newsfeed, and you're more likely to get interaction in there. So Facebook groups are more for whether that's something that you can offer as an additional service. You might be able to find Facebook groups that you can join, but and look for Facebook groups that deal with your local area, because there are a few of those where businesses in around this area and businesses in around that area that you can connect with people locally, and also think about whether it's a service that you can offer your clients. And if you have a profile for your business where you have to add friends to your business profile, you are breaching Facebook terms and conditions. Facebook terms and conditions say that a business must have a page and not a profile. However, what you can do on your personal profile, your personal profile, my Veronica Pullen profile, you can have a subscribe option, which allows people to subscribe to your personal post, your personal public post, without you having to friend them. And that's another option. Mary Smith got something like 4 times as many subscribers to her personal post as she did fans of her page. So it may well be worth you opening that up, at least offering it as another funnel for people to connect with you. But you should never have a profile that should be Veronica Pullen that is called by a business name, because that is in breach of T's and C's, and you are very likely to lose it. Facebook will take it down without notice. So stick to the pages, stick to the group, but allow people to subscribe to your personal profile. YouTube is a personal TV channel. It allows you to create videos, funny videos, entertaining videos, informative videos that you can share on Facebook, Twitter, everywhere. Post them on YouTube, share them everywhere else. Put them on your website, embed them into your site, because Google owns YouTube. So there's some good Google juice. If a page has got a video on it, Google will give it priority. If you haven't got videos that you can use, there's a site called animoto.com which allows you to create videos from photos. It's a very easy platform to use, and if you go onto the site you'll see just how easy it is. Any video that you post publicly, I recommend that you add a branded intro or exit sequence to the front or the end of the video, and you can get those done on Fiverr.com. If you're not aware of Fiverr, it's an amazing site in America that will do pretty much most things for $5. Now I can subconsciously hear Neil grinding his teeth in my ear, but don't use it for important branding stuff. See, Neil, I do listen. Don't use Fiverr to create logos for your main business on things that really matter. But what you do use what I use Fiverr for example, those characters at the beginning of this presentation, and they were done on Fiverr. I've used Fiverr to create the intro sequence to the videos. When you watch the recording of this webinar, the intro sequence was done at Fiverr. It's worth exploring what you can have done there, but I do always recommend that you have a branding on this video, so that when it does get shared, your business is going with it. If you're blogging, blog regularly, because there's some good SEO benefits to blogging. But it's also, if you put a blog post out there, it can be a way of people having an interest in reading that blog, and when they come back to the blog, they're on your website and they can see what it is that you do. They might opt into your mailing list, but it draws them in. Steve Blick says blog, not flog. Don't use a blog to sell. Use a blog to inform, educate, entertain, or whatever, and you can build up some nice traction using your blog if the content is quality. Like I said, share tips, news, case studies, talk about clients, not necessarily by name, but talk about the problem that they had when they came to you, talk about how you resolved it, and talk about what happened to them afterwards. You don't have to name them. If they want to be named, it can be a good bit of publicity for them, because they're likely to share it if they're included. But just telling the story will allow people to identify with what you do and decide whether it's that you're talking to them. Having a guest blog post, writing guest blog posts are great lead generators. If you can get a guest blog slot on a blog with a large audience in a similar area, or an area that your targeted prospects are in, you'll get your blog post will introduce you to a new audience. And I've done a few guest blog posts with some quite successful results. So that's another avenue that you can consider. Twitter is my absolute favourite. Twitter is 140 characters per tweet. That's characters and not words. It's quick, easy access to anyone. There is absolutely no gatekeepers in between you and the people, the prospects or potential JV partners that you want to connect with. JV stands for joint venture, by the way, if anyone of you don't know that saying. But that means where you partner up with somebody with a dual benefit. So they promote you and you promote them. But Twitter is the absolute best for lead generation. I get 80% of my leads and sales through Twitter. Quite a lot of you that have registered for this call knew me from Twitter first, even if you've met me elsewhere. Every Sunday, Theo Prophetus runs Small Business Sunday competition, and between 5 and 7:30 every Sunday evening, you tweet Theo telling him what it is that you do, and he chooses his 6 favourite. And the 6 that he chooses get retweeted to his 150,000 followers. And there is also a website that Theo has created that gives every winner a profile, which is, the website is being worked on to rank very highly, but every winner gets a page on this website. So it's kind of like Theo is the champion of small businesses, and for the amount of time it takes you to write that entry tweet, it's worth the exposure, because there are lots of people that follow that competition. Around 1,200 people a week enter it. 1,200 people a week are waiting for the result. Many people are looking for the hashtag and following it to see who's entered, and it's a nice little bit of exposure whether you win. If you win, it's a little bit of exposure. Sorry, if you don't win, it's a little bit. If you win, it's a lot. And yeah, I won it. 24th of July 2011. I was chosen by Theo. At the time, I was the first social media business to be chosen. Since then, there's been a couple more. And at the end of March, I got to meet Theo. Now, if I was running a business where Theo, perhaps one of Theo's other businesses could have been of benefit to me, I was close enough to talk to him there. I had the opportunity to talk to him and say something that might open a door to another conversation. I didn't, because that wasn't what I was there for, and because there were too many people there. But just what I'm saying, by winning the competition, you get one step closer to Theo, and who knows where that can go. There will be another winners again. That wasn't the only one, that was the first one. So it is absolutely worth trying. Now remember that every business owner is also a consumer. When people use LinkedIn, they have their business head on. So if you try and sell cushions in LinkedIn, people are not there to buy cushions. They're there to network or put themselves in front of their own prospects. At the same time, when they use Facebook, when they're on Facebook looking through to see what their friends are up to, they're there as a consumer. So if I'm checking to see what my friends did last night, I'm not so interested in business stuff. So what you need to try and do is appeal to the person. If you're selling B2B on Facebook, you're going to have a harder time. If you're selling B2C on Facebook, it's much easier. So that's why I normally say that if you're selling B2B, you use LinkedIn rather than Facebook. You use your efforts on LinkedIn rather than Facebook if you are trying to keep the time short. That's not to say that you can't be successful on Facebook, but it will take you longer to get traction. And you will, in order to get the traction, you will need to spend money on adverts. And I'm not here to recommend monetized social media. I'm here to tell you about what's available for free. And as a consumer, you can build traction for free on Facebook. As a business owner, you can't easily. But Twitter is for both. Twitter, people who are using Twitter are there both in business and consumer. And you can have, whether you're selling to businesses or to consumers, you can have great results from Twitter. And like I said, I built my business from scratch with no lift in an area where I'd only lived for a few months and knew nobody, pretty much entirely on Twitter. And it is phenomenal. It is an absolutely phenomenal platform. Now, what I don't want you to do, we've done a lot of content tonight, and I don't want you to go away from this call tonight overwhelmed by everything that I've said. Pick one thing or two things that I've said tonight that you can apply immediately and start doing them. If you haven't got a LinkedIn profile, go and do it. If you're not engaging with new people, go and try it. If you haven't got a Twitter account, go and get one. But pick something that you can do and achieve, that you can tick off and say, I gained that from the time that I spent on the call tonight. Because otherwise, you've got a huge long list of things that I've suggested and you won't know where to start or which to do first. So just pick the important ones are the LinkedIn profile and the Twitter account. If you've done those already, then pick something else. Go and engage with the 6 people or meet someone new or recommend someone. But do something, but don't try and do it all. But what I want to do is to help you, because with my many years of experience in social media, I can help you to sort out the wheat from the chaff. I can help you to get focused and see where you should be, and I can hold your hand while you do it. Now, I created the social media prospector for Twitter online training, and inside this training it's a completely comprehensive training that teaches you just about everything I know about Twitter, and if it's something that I learn later I add it in, but it shows you how you can find your targeted prospect. Now earlier I touched on keywords and key phrases. Inside social media prospector I talk more about how you can use what people say. I'll show you how to identify what your prospects are saying so that you can search for those tweets to find, like parachute jump in the middle of your prospect. I teach you how to engage powerfully. I teach you how to build a highly engaged network of customers, referrers and raving fans, and how you can source powerful media coverage that promotes your business to a huge offline audience. Personally, I've had newspaper coverage, magazine coverage, I've been on the TV, I've been on the radio, all as a result, directly resulting from relationships that I built on Twitter. And I show you how I did that so that you can start generating that for yourself as well. Now, social media prospector is £47. Is that hopefully that's come up? It's behind my control panel. £47, so one-off payment of £47, and that gives you access to the entire 6 modules of Prospector, and also a secret Facebook group where you can come and get more support and more help and brainstorm search strategies and just ask any questions that you have of me and the other group members. But beyond that, I want to work with you longer time. I want to help you make it happen. Now I put together the Word of Mouth Local Social Media Mastermind Academy, and this is for a small group of 50 business owners, and a third of the places have gone already. This is for committed people who know that they need more success on social media and need someone to support them and help them while they achieve it, not just to be left in the dark to struggle on alone. Focus, effort and supportive group and private network to help you take that journey. Now, in the academy, you get fortnightly group training and support calls with me and the rest of the group. Every fortnight, we have a 90-minute call. The first half an hour of that call will be me training. It's not where I'm going to be talking for the whole call. The first half an hour, I will deliver some training on an aspect of social media, so that every fortnight you learn something new, something that you can take away and apply straight away. The last hour of that call is where you bring your biggest struggles with social media to the call. You tell us what you're struggling with. If you need me to demonstrate something to you, I can do that by sharing the screen exactly the same way as I'm doing now. The calls will work exactly as they are now. So if you're hearing this, you've got access to the calls fine. So you bring your struggles to the call and you tell us what it is that's stopping you this week from taking a step forward. We'll resolve that struggle and you will go off with a plan, an action plan to put into place in the next 2 weeks. And 2 weeks later you come back and I teach you something else and you confirm that you've got on okay, and we talk about the next step that you take. So every fortnight you are taking another step forward in your journey and learning new skills as well at the same time. In addition to that, you get one-to-one social media training with me. When you need my help, you just drop me an email and we will schedule time. If I can't answer that question by email, we will schedule a call as we're having now, or a telephone call, whichever works best. You and I will chat alone and move that obstacle out of the way so you can go forward. Now, what I don't do is to say that every member gets an hour a month or what have you. I'm putting no limits on it because I don't want you to feel that you can't ask. I want you to know that when you need it, when you need help, that help is here for you. All you need to do is come to me and say, I need some support, and you will get that support. The group training calls start week commencing 4th of June. Now, the reason I've done that is because the other thing that I throw in with this Mastermind Academy is Social Media Prospector for Twitter free, which means that the earlier you join the academy will run until the 31st of August. Between now and the first call, the week commencing 4th of June, you can instantly work through Social Media Prospector for Twitter. So as soon as you join, you get access to the training. And you can spend the next few weeks working through the Social Media Prospector training, so that when you come into the group calls, you've already covered everything that there is at that point to cover about Twitter. If you've got questions about the training, you can ask them in this Facebook support group that you'll get instant access to. So you're not going to be left alone for 4 weeks to struggle on. But it means that you can get started, and that immediately you can start to see results. You will be learning strategies that you can apply right now. You get access to the Facebook support group for help, and you also get immediate access to the one-to-one time with me. So the one-to-one time doesn't start on the 4th of June. The one-to-one time starts immediately that you join. So what that actually means is that the earlier you come on board, the more time you get, because the group calls start at the beginning of June and they will run until the end of August. So that technically is the 3-month academy, 1st of June to 31st of August. But today's only the 3rd of May. So if you joined early, if you come on board early, then you've got nearly a month for free. And in that month, you've got immediate access to Social Media Prospector, which is worth 47 quid. You haven't got to buy that separately. I'm giving it to you. And you get immediate access to help from me. So we can schedule a call next week. If you're struggling right now, it's a bit late for this week, but if you're struggling right now, join the academy and tell me what you're struggling with, and we will have a chat next week and we'll get you through that struggle, while at the same time you're working through Prospector. Now, all of that is worth £488. 3-month academy programme, technically 4 months. I haven't even valued the 4th month. So when you add in the 4th month as well, it's 600 odd quid. Now what I want to do is to reward people who get on board early, because that says to me that you have decided that you are struggling with social media and you have decided that you want to start making more of it. And because you've decided that and you've agreed to take a step forward, I'm going to reward you by A, giving you more time, and B, saving you money. If you come on to the Social Media Academy before 9 o'clock on Tuesday, it's bank holiday weekend, Tuesday morning at 9 o'clock, you will not pay £488. You will pay £147. That is a one-off payment of £147. So that, if you look at it, that's £47 for Prospector, and 100 quid buys you 3 months of fortnightly support calls and 3 months of one-to-one time with me. Now my hourly rate is close to 100 quid. So I'm virtually giving myself away to you here in the nicest possible way. But I'm doing it because I want to help you. My passion in business is to see local businesses getting results from social media. And I'm seeing so many of you struggling. And I want to stop that struggle. I don't want you to be sitting there thinking, everybody else seems to be getting results and I'm not. I want you to make that decision to take the step forward, and I want to hold your hand while you do it. So at the end of the 3 months, imagine your business at the end of that 3 months journey, and imagine the serious strides you have taken with fortnightly training, fortnightly masterminding, 3 months of one-to-one support from me. Whatever you need, you can have within reason, okay? I'm not going to let you book me out for the whole week, but within reason, we will overcome struggles that you're facing. And you get immediate access to Social Media Prospector for Twitter, which you will become, at the end of the Prospector, you will be a Twitter whiz, because I tell you everything that I know. If you do everything I tell you to in Social Media Prospector for Twitter, you will get results, I promise you. But you need to take action. If you take action early, I give you more, I give you another month, and I save you money. Now, if you're ready to make that decision, the usual value of the Academy is £197, and that will be the price on Tuesday at 9:01. So you'll save 50 quid by making the decision early, and you gain almost a month. If you're ready to make that decision, you can go to socialmediaprospector.com/mastermind. You will see more information on that page, and you can book your place immediately through the link at the bottom of the page. Like I said, it is only open until Tuesday at 9 o'clock because I want you to know if you're having a problem with social media. I think you already know that. And certainly I've heard it a lot recently, and I think you in your gut, you know that, and you need to do something about it. If you do something about it now, take action and I'll reward you. If you dither, then I'm afraid you don't get the reward. You get less time, because remember, the earlier the more time, and you pay more money. At 9:01 on Tuesday morning, the price will go up to £197. So thank you for joining me. I hope you've managed to gain loads and loads of content out of today. I'm not seeing any questions in the box. Has anyone got any questions that I just want to throw in the question box? I'm aware that we're going very close to time. We have 1 minute until the end of the call time, and I don't want to hold you up because it's 7:30 and you've all got evenings to go to. If you have got a question and it hasn't been answered in the call, drop me an email afterwards. But go and have a look now at that socialmediaprospector.com/mastermind, because all of the information is there, and within 5 minutes you can have your place confirmed and you will receive the access to Prospector tonight. So you can get started first thing in the morning, or even tonight. If you're that keen, you can stay up tonight and get started, but don't wake me up, yeah? As soon as you need the help, I'm here for you. Take action early, make progress, take that step forward, because as soon as you do, you will see results, and it's those results that will drive your business. I want to help you be successful, and I want you to hope that you can trust me to help you to be successful. Thank you very much for joining me tonight. Have a great Thursday evening, and I'll see you all, hopefully, in the Mastermind Academy, because I really, really do want to help you. And I think I've got a lot to offer you, and I know that we can make serious progress in your journey. So thank you very much for coming along, and I will see you all soon. Bye-bye.